Hi, curious people. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Curious People Wanted, a video series by the Barnum Museum in Bridgeport, Connecticut. My name is Adrienne Saint-Pierre, and as the curator here at the Barnum, my work days are spent surrounded by all kinds of wonderful objects and artwork, and I really enjoy sharing their stories with people. Today, we are going to look at a rare and unusual Barnum poster, along with an artifact that is an exciting newcomer to our collection. Now, you probably noticed right away that this isn't a circus poster featuring performers or wild animals. In fact, it isn't a conventional advertising poster at all, even though it is a poster format. It's actually a biographical piece about P.T. Barnum. As you can see, it was designed as a series of vignettes surrounding this portrait of P.T. Barnum, and these vignettes illustrate some of Barnum's proudest moments, as well as his larger accomplishments, like the development of the city of Bridgeport and creating the greatest show on earth. The main title of this poster is Scenes from a Long and Busy Life. Which is a perfect phrase to describe Barnum's life. But the subtitle is kind of funny. I hope it's tongue-in-cheek. It characterizes Barnum as the son of the amusement world from which all lesser luminaries borrow light. Very modest, don't you think? We only know of one other surviving poster like this, although the company that produced it, Strobridge Lithographing Company, did many of Barnum's circus posters. Probably very few of these ones were printed to begin with because it appears that this was intended for presentation gifts. At the top left here, we see presented, and in the bottom right-hand corner, with compliments, P.T. Barnum. Now, we don't know the exact year when it was produced, but it seems to be around 1881 or 1882. Barnum's gift of an enormous, gorgeous fountain to his native town of Bethel is up here in one of the vignettes. And that is the latest date on the poster. That event was 1881. But it was in the following year, in 1882, that Jumbo the elephant came to America. And, you know, I can't imagine that Jumbo wouldn't have found a place on this poster because he was, in every sense of the word, a huge achievement for Barnum. So that makes me think this poster was pre-Jumbo. That said, you may have spotted an elephant on this poster up here at the top left. But that's not about Jumbo. It's actually much earlier. In 1851, Barnum devised a clever stunt to spark the curiosity of train passengers who were passing by his property. He had an elephant plowing the field. It's a great story about a truly Barnum-esque promotional tactic, and you'll get to hear about it in one of our Showman's Shorts videos by Betsy Golden Kellum. Now, I love the fun stories like that, but I also like the fact that this poster includes a mix of lighthearted and more serious achievements, and many things that people today don't know about Barnum's life. There's a vignette showing him as the mayor of Bridgeport, and another of him meeting with President Garfield. I like this because apparently Garfield told Barnum that he was the Kris Kringle of America. And there's a scene with Barnum riding with the last king of Hawaii, King Kalakaua, and they're riding around the hippodrome. So that's pretty unusual. Now, here in this vignette, this is one I want to focus on because we see P.T. Barnum standing before the Connecticut State Legislature. I'd like to show you an artifact that relates to this scene. He is speaking before the General Assembly on May 26, 1865, and that's only a couple of weeks after the Civil War ended. He was advocating to his fellow legislators to ratify the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, and that is the amendment that would abolish slavery and involuntary servitude. In fact, Connecticut did vote to ratify it among the 27 states that did. Now, it's one thing to tell people, hey, did you know that Showman P.T. Barnum served 4 terms in the state legislature? That's cool, but I think knowing that becomes more memorable and interesting when you see an object that is directly associated with that part of his life. We recently acquired a photo album that dates from Barnum's first term in the legislature in 1865. Now, this was created by one of Barnum's colleagues in the legislature, Thomas W. Wheeler, who must have asked all his colleagues if they would each contribute a photograph for his album. Now, at that time, these little photographs, I'll show you some examples here. These are little baseball-sized photographs, and they were called carte de visite. They were very popular, and they kind of started a collecting craze. Photographs had become quite affordable by that time, and some people just created collections, such as of famous people, not just of their own family members. So the popularity of carte de visite spawned the development of photo albums, and you can see this is quite specialized. The openings are intended exactly for these carte de visite. So Representative Thomas Wheeler got a little something extra from his new colleague, Mr. Barnum. Not only did he receive a photograph, but also a letter. This letter from P.T. Barnum is on stationery that is illustrated with Barnum's second home in Bridgeport called Lindencroft. Barnum's page in this album is the only one that has a letter along with a photo, and I'm sure Wheeler must have been especially proud to have these items from Barnum in his album. Keep in mind, this was several years before Barnum's circus endeavors, but Barnum was already famous because of his American Museum in New York City. Now, what does Barnum's letter say? He writes, "Dear Sir, please accept the enclosed mementos of our meeting in the Connecticut legislature this year. If you can conveniently favor me with a photograph yourself, I shall esteem it highly." I think that actually suggests a certain amount of humility, or at least polite courtesy, to request a photograph of his colleague, acknowledging that they were equals in the legislature. I hope you've enjoyed taking a closer look at this unusual poster and the legislator's photo album. We're lucky to have these items that both document and illustrate some of the not so well-known facets of P.T. Barnum's career. Thanks for joining me today, and I will look forward to seeing you on a future episode of Curious People Wanted. Till then, be well.